The storm swirling around Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, and Lena Wyther has taken on a life of its own, growing louder with every cryptic post, backstage whisper, and strange moment caught on camera. What began as harmless speculation about a close friendship on the Wicked press tour has now twisted into a full-blown accusation that Ariana is trying to slide her way into Cynthia's relationship, and Lena Wyther is done pretending she doesn't see what everyone else sees. The fuel behind these whispers didn't appear out of nowhere. It simmered through strange interviews, odd glances, nervous touches, and the kind of affectionate behavior that seemed less like two co-stars promoting a movie and more like two people trying very hard not to reveal how deep their bond really goes. Fans had already been raising eyebrows, pointing out how Cynthia and Ariana lingered on each other, how they hovered protectively, how the air between them always seemed charged with something unspoken, something tender, something a little too intimate. And when Lena began posting cryptic Instagram stories that lined up almost perfectly with the press tour timeline, the internet didn't need much help connecting the dots. The first signs were subtle, buried under the bright lights and red carpets. Ariana and Cynthia couldn't stop touching each other, leaning into one another, whispering between questions, reacting to every cough, flinch, or moment of discomfort like they were emotionally fused. Their chemistry during interviews felt intense enough that fans began clipping these moments, replaying them, analyzing them frame by frame. Then came the now infamous press moment where Ariana called their behavior insufferable, half laughing, half self-aware, while Cynthia couldn't stop smiling beside her. Something about the exchange felt unusually revealing, like an inside joke exposed to the world, one that Lena didn't seem to find funny based on her online reactions. And then she posted a screenshot referencing that same interaction, drawing attention directly to the tension the audience had already picked up on. But none of that compared to the Wicked for Good promo moments that unfolded later, where whatever strange atmosphere existed between Ariana and Cynthia evolved from awkward to unmistakably intimate. In one segment, Ariana is visibly shaken after a fan aggressively grabbed her near the stage, and Cynthia immediately engulfed her in comfort, touching her face, whispering reassurances, taking control of the moment like a partner protecting their own. They clung to each other, their bodies nearly pressed together as Cynthia tried to steady her. Fans who had previously brushed off their closeness found themselves staring in disbelief. Friends do that. Co-stars do that. But the tenderness in that moment seemed to cross a line that Lena could see just as clearly as the audience did. Then, the tattoos happened. And that, more than anything else, sent the situation from suspicious to alarming. Ariana has a long history of getting matching tattoos with her partners, a pattern so consistent that fans practically treat it as a relationship announcement. Every serious romance she's had, Pete Davidson, Dalton Gomez, Mac Miller in subtle ways, was linked with ink, symbolic designs, memory markers. So when she and Cynthia suddenly emerged with matching tattoos, accompanied by long, emotional messages about how the experience changed them forever, the internet exploded. To Ariana's fans, this wasn't just a sweet tribute. It was a signal, a pattern, a familiar route she only takes with someone she feels deeply connected to. And to Lena Wyther, whose own relationship with Cynthia began under controversial circumstances, it felt like déjà vu. Because if there is one detail that people cannot ignore, it's how Lena and Cynthia's romance began. They met in 2018 at the Met Gala, and from the moment they shared a stage, their energy shifted into something more magnetic than a casual professional connection. Cynthia called Lena her sis, the same language she now uses with Ariana. Lena, then still married, appeared glued to Cynthia's side at public events, red carpets, and award ceremonies. Within months, her marriage collapsed. The timing was suspicious in a way that fans never forgot, and the whispers about emotional overlap and blurred boundaries grew stronger. That is why Lena's fear feels so grounded in irony. The same intense emotional connection that once pulled her toward Cynthia is now being mirrored almost exactly between Cynthia and Ariana. Same words. Same closeness. Same strange, sister-coded labels. Same sudden shift from colleagues to inseparable companions. Lena recognizes this pattern because she once benefited from it. When Ariana and Cynthia began calling each other sisters, fans immediately recalled the old posts between Cynthia and Lena where that same word was used. The cycle was repeating itself with startling precision. Interviews from the early days of Wicked revealed how Ariana and Cynthia described their connection as instant and overwhelming, saying they sang together for the first time at the director's home and felt something click into place, something warm, emotional, and deeply personal. They talked about daily conversations, leaning on each other, building a bond that carried them through long filming years. And all this emerged while Cynthia was still in a committed relationship with Lena, leaving room for insecurities, doubts, and rising tension. Ariana's romantic history only intensifies the speculation. Her relationships tend to form quickly, intensely, and often with people already entangled in other commitments. Ethan Slater, her most recent partner, was married with a newborn when he began working with her on Wicked. Their relationship ignited rapidly, ending his marriage and causing a media firestorm. And now, rumors are swirling that Ariana has left Ethan behind in favor of Cynthia, right as their emotional closeness reaches its peak. For Lena, who already watched Ariana get tattoos with her partner and cling to her through every press appearance, this isn't paranoia. It's a legitimate concern based on well-documented patterns. When Lena began dropping cryptic posts about maturity and cutting off false narratives, people started reading her captions like warning flags. When she shared images implying irritation with the press tour behavior, the internet erupted. And when insiders began claiming she feels Ariana is trying to steal Cynthia, the narrative locked into place. Whether Ariana is intentionally pursuing Cynthia or simply unaware of the emotional impact of her actions, the perception is now firmly rooted. Lena is preparing to defend her relationship. Ariana is doing subtle damage control by explaining why she touches Cynthia so much. Cynthia is caught in the middle, glowing with affection while trying to maintain boundaries in public. And the entire situation grows more unstable by the day. At this point, fans are waiting for the next move. Will Lena confront Ariana publicly? Will Ariana step back or only lean in closer? Will Cynthia eventually have to choose between the friendship that gives her so much emotional comfort and the partner who is starting to feel overshadowed? This triangle is volatile, intense, and fueled by years of hidden tensions that have now spilled into the open. And by the time the second Wicked film arrives, the relationships surrounding its cast may look very different from the ones that existed when filming began.